When I was a kid playing Super Mario Maker on my Wii U, I always thought it was so cool that you can make your own levels and then go and play other people's creations. As I grew up, I always felt like the idea of allowing people to make their own fan levels in a game was wasted by the fact that only one company did it. Until now. Media Maker is a first-person shooter game where the gameplay loop is going out to raid for materials, coming back to upgrade you and your items, and then making your own dungeon for others to raid, and then going back out on said raids. In concept, it seems fun, and it is also in practice. I'm also going to disclaim that this whole video is made in Media Maker's open beta, which means all this is subject to change. With that out of the way, let's get to the basics. In Media Maker, you play as the Custodian, a scientist robot thing tasked with working on the Chimera Project, which is humanity's last hope to repopulate a devastated Earth. We don't know yet what exactly happened to Earth, but we can probably assume it's a thermonuclear war. The Chimera Project is not just something you are doing. Others are trying to accomplish the same thing, or at least we can assume, due to everyone looking for the same thing. Pure genetic material. Whether it's for their own chimeras or other means, I don't know. But my headcanon is that the Chimera Project is happening everywhere to all the custodians, but they're too scared to try to help each other due to the aforementioned collapse of society. To get genetic material, I'll just call it gem mat from now on, you either need to harvest it from the vast wasteland or steal it from others. This is where the two sides of the game come into play. I'm going to talk about the raiding outpost type of gameplay, and then I'll talk about building your own dungeon for others to explore, and then finally, I'll finish this off by talking about the items used to raid and build effectively. The gameplay of Media Maker while raiding is similar to a first-person shooter such as Titanfall 2, but has the same learning from dying shtick like a Dark Souls game. When you begin a raid and after every death, you are given time to switch out your loadout to have the most effective strategy. For example, an outpost with a lot of ranged weapons will require the melee weapon that can deflect ranged weapons, or a ranged weapon with enough speed to hit them first, while one containing a lot of traps might require the need of faster weapons in order to disable them. When moving around, you have access to a double jump and a grappling hook, which gives you a lot of crazy movement, like slingshotting yourself with a grappling hook and then double jumping for a semi-bunny hop, or grappling to an enemy to hit them with melee. On the topic of weapons, I'll go into the specifics in the item section, but you normally have a gun and a melee weapon. Guns are ranged weapons, obviously, but you have a unique way of ammo. You see, weapons have very limited bullet count, but the bullets are reused. The main problem is getting back to them. We have to go through a Minecraft death one to get your rusty nail or whatever back. Melee weapons have unlimited ammo by having no ammo. But the disadvantage is that you'll need to be able to hit the enemy / trap, which is bad because most traps punish aggressive play by being quick to come out. My advice, take it slow. You don't have a time limit, so you can just wait until they find a weakness in their defense, then exploit it to win. The building in this game is similar to one like Minecraft, that being it's based on blocks. Place blocks to make simple structures, change the blocks to make them more complex, scatter around a few traps and enemies, protect your gem mat, and voila, a simple outpost. While this may be what new players do, mainly because of the low item count and abundance of indestructible blocks on shape of plots, you can still be creative. Place guards in areas that the raider would have trouble reaching. Place traps in unexpected areas, and make sure to mod both of them. Mods are a mechanic that allows for more customization, and even the starter mod is one of the best. I'm not going to go over all of them right now as we're still in beta and I want to keep this short, but the starter mod is Second Wave, which completely hides a trap until your MacGuffin is trolling, allowing you to try to game people with hidden spike walls. You start off with weak traps and weak guards, but you can slowly evolve to create masterful dungeons. I'm not going to go into detail on some of the traps and guards mentioned in the last section. Starting with traps, we have the Impaler. This is a basic spike trap. Someone walks in front, they get stabbed. That's simple. Another simple trap is the bolt shot, which fires a burst of arrows looking to stick whoever's in front of them to the nearby wall. Again, something small, but can be used in tandem with anything. Anything can work with everything. So you can combine two separate traps to help pincer an enemy. A trap entirely based on combo attacks is the Iron Claw, which allows you to scorpion your enemies, pulling them into whatever gank you have set up. I especially like to pair this with Impalers and Guards, which I'll get into right now. As stated, Guards are the monsters of this game. They're called subclones, which probably has a lot of lore reasons behind it, but in essence, they're just mindless zombies. We have the two most common ones, the Enforcer and the Warmonger. The Enforcer is a dude with a gun, specifically a Volt Lancer, which I'll get into in a bit. He can be annoying if placed in tandem with other Enforcers, Iron Claws, or even putting them next to Impales in case people want to melee them. Warmongers are brutes, but have the same health as an Enforcer. They are your melee enemies, swinging their arm blades, leaping and striking whatever poor schmo they decide to smack. There are other subclones, but I'm not going to go into them as I'm just put timeless to me building a dungeon. Normally they take about an hour or so to build, but thanks to the power of time-lapsing, I can show you it in about 2 minutes. When upgrading your character, there are a few options. The main way you unlock upgrades is through advisors, which specialize in armor, traps, guards, hardware, and weapons. Armor which suit you'll be wearing, either Ironside for ranged combat, or Kamaitachi for melee combat / speed. Both of them are good, but I mainly use the Kamaitachi for the extra speed boost, which helps when facing a lot of traps at once. The traps and guards and visors unlock more defenses to protect your outpost, which is helpful so you don't have to try to get people with spike walls for the entire game. I should also mention the currency, of which there's 3. Parts, the blue material, Genmat, the red material, and the yellow material, Synthite. You get to use Genmat for unlocking everything, and yellow for hardware and defenses, and parts for weapon and armor. The next salesman is the hardware salesman, which you can think of as consumable items. Grenades, adrenaline, respawn points, the work. The final advisor is the weapons advisor, where you unlock your weapons. For guns, we have the Volt Lancer and Falconic Plasma Bow. The Volt Lancer, the starting gun, is a long-range bolt launcher and has the added benefit of breaking armor and traps. The Falconic Plasma Bow can't break traps, but it has more ammunition, making it better for more guard-intensive dungeons. We also have the swords, the Fury Edge, and the Sledge Blade. The Fury Edge is a little short sword that strikes fast and can block projectiles, but has a short range and no armor-piercing capability. The Sledge Blade is a great sword that has a large range, as well as breaking powers. It cannot deflect projectiles, but that doesn't matter much when it can just run up and whack the enemy. Overall, I think the game has a lot of potential. Both aspects of the game are fun, the graphics are nice, it runs really smoothly. It's great. Those are some errors like DirectX crashes, lorem ipsum showing up before text loads, but those should be fixed in its April release. I'm excited for the game to fully release and highly recommend trying the demo if it's still up. I do have some requests for the devs if any are watching. Allowing us to paint traps to hide them easier would be good, an inverted peak for inside decoration, as we use a lot of slopes to provide support, an Indiana Jones rolling ball trap, and maybe more building blocks with stealth maps, as I think sneaking into an outpost would make for a fun map idea. I'll see you all when it releases.